Welcome to Show Me Sports Legacies. Here today with my co-host, Chris Augenfels, and we've got a good one lined up for you today. Chris, there's a lot going on. It's summertime, and we've even heard from some of our listeners about some of the stuff we talk about here.
Well, we got one of our first feedback emails through our social media, and it wasn't necessarily what you would think about with all of our sports topics that we cover, but it was when we occasionally talk about our road food and our road trips. And so we had a listener contact you and email you in about the hot dog, the boomstick at the Rangers game that we talked about, like the 2-foot-long chili cheese dog. And so was asking for us to add some more road food and road trip meals to the podcast. So we will keep that in mind. Thank you, listener, for that. And I've got one for you. I think the one I'm hooked on this year, I think I've been to 4 times in the last maybe 6 weeks on road trips, is Dave's Hot Chicken. So if you haven't tried Dave's Hot Chicken, try it. Get the mozzarella stick hot and the chicken hot, and that'll keep you ready to go for a while.
You need hot stuff in hot weather.
Right, that's right.
It doesn't make sense, but it works. Okay, so we're going to talk basketball of all things.
Love it.
Right now, what's going on in the world of basketball is, there's some free agent stuff in the NBA, but the WNBA is really heating up, and there's good games on every night. One of those teams, the Indiana Fever, has really kind of caught people's attention for a lot of reasons.
Right. They're kind of a local team for people in the Midwest. They've got a bona fide superstar that's from the Midwest in Iowa, and Caitlin Clark. And right now they kind of have the spotlight in the national sports realm in the dog days of the summer and the late weeks of July. The World Cup is over. The NFL hasn't cranked up their training yet. The NBA's in their offseason. The MLB's kind of in their dog days. And the WNBA is on about it, like you said, every night. They've found a way to get them on national TV, and the Indiana Fever are a hot team to watch. They've got Caitlin Clark. They've got Mizzou alum Sophie Cunningham. And if you turn on a game that's got the Fever and Caitlin Clark, you're liable to see a logo 3. And that's what kind of made her famous, is the long-range threes that Caitlin can hit from time to time.
We've got a guest today that was famous for that in this area, is the 8th leading all-time girls high school basketball scorer in the state of Missouri with over 3,000 points. And you don't get 3,000 points by doing layups all the time. A lot of logo threes. And before we knew about Caitlin Clark, we knew about Cady Pauley over in Milan, Missouri.
Right. She had a name and reputation in this area of being a long-range, long-distance shooter, but she could score anyway. She could get to the basket. She shot a lot of free throws. She got fouled. And she was kind of, the go-to for Milan for all 4 years that she was in. She could score. She, I think, started out averaging in the high 20s and then into the low 30s. And every time they needed a big basket, they went to Cady.
We've got a little clip here from a buddy of ours, Jeremy Benson.
Friend of the podcast.
He's on our podcast, and he's kind of Mr. GRC. He does all the GRC.com stuff, Grand River Conference. Talks about one of his favorite players here in this clip.
Most memorable basket from her is this was in the conference championship game. St. Joe Christian was playing Milan. I was actually on the bench keeping score for St. Joe Christian at the time. And at halftime, St. Joe Christian was leading. St. Joe Christian had beaten them the week before, and they were leading. And really, Milan was not playing well. And St. Joe Christian missed a free throw. Cady Pauley just grabs the rebound, lofts it about 70 feet, and swishes it. And the momentum took them into the second half, and they ended up winning the conference championship. But I've seen her have some amazing shots. I've seen her score 48 points in a game, too. She was just an amazing athlete.
She crossed half court, and if you didn't guard her, the shot might be going up at any point.
Right. She's got what we call the open door range. As soon as you open the door to the gym, you had range, you could shoot, and you had to check her everywhere she went. And if you didn't, you'd probably give up 35 or 40 points because she could really fill it up.
Well, we're going to talk about that today, and so let's close this part out, talk a little Milan basketball and Cady Pauley lighting it up, and talk about what she did and what she's about to do, as she has been named the new head coach of girls basketball at Milan at her alma mater.
All right, it's season 3, episode 9. Let's go.
Before Caitlin Clark's name in Iowa became identified with the term from the logo, Cady Pauley was striking fear into North Missouri high school girls teams who knew they better pick her up at half court. Milan Girls Basketball changed when freshman Cady Pauley arrived. She didn't ease her way into the picture, but blazed away and started a 4-year run of ultra-competitive basketball in North Missouri. She wasn't done until she had scored a career total of 3,074 points, 8th all-time in Missouri girls basketball history. 4-time All-GRC, 2-time All-State, went on to play Division I women's basketball at the University of Virginia, and later at Missouri State University. Now graduated, Cady's returned to her alma mater at Milan High School as the 2026 head girls basketball coach. Also joining us on the podcast is Cady's coach for much of her amazing career at Milan, Ched Hurley. Ched had a long history of basketball coaching and teaching in the Trenton R9 district before becoming head girls basketball coach at Milan in 2019. He quickly adapted his coaching to maximize Cady's talents, and their partnership led to the greatest success in Milan girls basketball history with multiple Grand River Conference finals, wins, and appearances in the state, all the way to the quarterfinals in her junior year. So welcome to a couple of Wildcats. Thanks for joining us today, guys.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
We're happy to tell stories, and one of our favorite stories is about players who go on to do other things and the relationship with the coaches. Cady, I want to start early. We talk about backstories on people. Tell me what young Cady was like and what sports caught your eye. Was it always basketball, or were there a variety of things?
No, I think young Cady was a little crazy. But my mom, when she got to Milan, she coached all three sports. She was assistant coach. And I was young when I first got there, so mom wasn't paying for daycare or none of that stuff. So I was there running the softball bases, going to track practice, and going to basketball practice all the time, so I was around it. Now, I probably didn't, listen into it that much when I was that young. I was just crazy and doing whatever. I just felt so cool being around with the upperclassmen. So I think that's where it all started, was mom taking me to practice and just being around all that.
So my dad was a principal, so he had the keys to all the gyms, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was always hanging around and annoying older kids and people when they were doing that stuff. So that's great. You were into softball. You did track. What came first for you?
Well, I really think it was softball first, because I'm pretty sure you were my coach in Little League up here at Trenton.
Yeah, I ruined her for that.
Oh, man, here we go.
No, that was so much fun. And that's how really my traveling stuff all got started, was I came up here, played rec, and then that's where I met Howie Lynch.
Yes.
And I got a call, after we played their team a couple of times, and Howie asked me to come play on his travel ball team, and he started my way of, getting into the travel ball stuff and then playing travel ball with his daughters. I think that's kind of where it all got started. Softball was first.
That's a good place to start. Howie's come up in a lot of our broadcasts because he influenced a lot of kids, and he loved sports, and he loved to promote and help kids reach their goals in sports.
Right. And that theme that always pops up in our podcast is, especially for athletes when they're young, is get a ball in their hands, get a bat in their hands, and let them develop and get them to the games, get them to the practices, let them explore, let them be who they want to be. And then from there, you'll have a coach or two pick you out and say, hey, come with us. And then you'll start, developing into those travel teams. So popular theme is get them going early and watch them blossom.
What was your favorite travel ball experience in any sport?
Oh.
Do you remember any really great weekends where it all clicked together?
Probably during AAU basketball. It's the Chicago tournament. It's the big Nike Nationals, where all the college coaches come and literally sitting around your gym, watching. And I was on all Iowa Tech, so I had pretty much some of the top players in the nation playing with me. So when Kevin Durant pulled up and it was the big Nike tournament, the championship game, I was like, oh boy, this is some serious stuff.
This is not Bob from the Milan Market in the crowd. This is KD's watching you. Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
I love that. Okay, so when you got to high school, kind of what was your expectation? I mean, were you thinking, I'm going to be a star? Were you thinking, I got to fit in with these girls? What was your expectation? I mean, you came on gangbusters as a freshman, but starting those first practices, what were you thinking?
Well, I definitely got a lot of opportunities to play up with the high schoolers. So, I had already known them. I think in 5th and 6th grade, I was going to the high school shoot-arounds. I was the water girl growing up all the way through. So, and there was a group, I think it was 2012 or something like that. It was Hannah Sanders, Bianca Caponetto is the group that Coach Dabney coached. They were superheroes to me. Don't know why. I wore their jerseys. I just felt like they were so cool. Did everything with them, literally. So I think going into my freshman year is I knew we hadn't won a district championship since then. So that was my main goal. I wanted to win a district championship. And that was the first thing I set my mind on. Didn't happen freshman year, so Coach came along and we got it done. But that was probably my first main goal. And I didn't really think anything of it. I'm the type that's probably I just knew we had a chance if I was on my A game. So, yeah.
Yeah. Now, you were watching her before you went to Milan. You were aware of her. I'm sure that factored into your discussion and choice to go over there. What do you remember seeing in a young Cady Pauley as a basketball player?
Fearless at a young age. You don't always get that in a freshman. They're always kind of holding back a little bit. She did not hold back. It was, I'm the best player on the floor and I'm going to show you. So that was fun to come into that and see her go on and do well. So it was really fun.
We've heard about this game against Green City your freshman year. It's kind of legendary, and Jeremy Benson was on our program early in the year, and he talked about that game. So here's the numbers on it, Chris. 57 points scored by 2 different players in the game. I mean, that's crazy.
This was a regulation game?
Yes.
Correct, right? No overtimes? And when I saw this come across, I can't remember if it was on Twitter or I heard it, I started doing the math like there's no way. Like 2 players scored 57 points each in 8-minute quarters in a high school game. Do you realize how many, like that's got to be
Crazy.
basket, all game long, because I don't know what the final score was, but it was, you guys didn't have like 57 of 59. Like it was that
It was
score.
like 92.
Yeah, that score was up in the 80s or something, wasn't it?
92 to 86,
Yeah,
I believe.
knew it was.
And-
Unreal that many points can be scored in a high school game with 8-minute quarters.
Well, imagine how many she scored in the last 8 minutes. She scored 28 points. How does that happen? Now, I've gotten hot in games and scored a dozen points or so pretty quickly. 28 points. I mean, no.
Well, I think it was the fourth quarter and we were down. Like, we were trailing the whole second half. So I think in my mind, the only thing that I was thinking about is get to the basket. If they foul me, let's get an and one. I mean, I love shooting threes. Threes bring you back. But a good and one has really, like, built the momentum. And I got a couple, and then I just kept going back to the free throw line. And I guess by the end of it, that's how much I had.
Did you realize, like, when you were going back and forth, like, did you count in your head while you were going, like, I bet you I have 45 or 50 points? Or was it after the game someone said, you had 57, you're like, no way?
No, so I think at the end, I mean, we still lost, but everyone was cheering. And I'm like, why are we cheering? We just lost. And then that's when I looked up.
She did not like to lose.
No, I didn't. And I look up, and that last 3 that I hit, it made it tied to where it was 57-57.
That's really cool. I've always thought there's 2 kinds of players that score a lot. And the one kind of player knows how many they have the whole game. Like there's 20, there's 23, go to the line, there's 24. And then there's the type of player like after the game, how many points you have? I got no idea.
Yeah.
Like you had 40. Okay. I wasn't keeping. So it always curious that there's 2 types of players. Did you keep track in games? Because you had a lot of 30 and 40 point games. Did you kind of know, I think I've got it going tonight, I might get 40, or did you just play and then?
Which, I mean, we had like the Jumbotron.
Oh, that's right. You guys had the scoreboard.
So,
You could
like,
kind of tell. Yeah.
I knew what I was
You
doing.
knew right away. Oh.
Which coaches are like, I don't know if I like that.
Yeah. Don't look up. Don't look up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember a game where I couldn't miss, and they subbed me out after a quarter and a half.
Oh, yeah.
I can't even miss. I hit a shot from my butt. I got knocked down and hit a shot. It's like when you feel it, you just know.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I don't think I can miss.
But that's when scoreboards, they had a little kid up there with an actual tile. And they were
Right,
changing it
right.
from 42 to 43. So you had no idea.
Like the old Cubs games.
Right.
There's a little too much truth in
Get
that.
the 4 out. He just scored again.
It's kind of old school. Old school. But Brooke Littrell, to give her credit, was the other person with the 57
Yes.
for the Green City Gophers.
Who went on to play at Central Missouri,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah.
And
Creighton.
Creighton.
Creighton, that's
Later
right.
last year at Creighton.
Yeah, you don't see too many 2 players playing D1 in a
Right,
game like
right.
that.
Right.
So that was kind of an announcement that you were on the scene, and you averaged 27.2 points a game. We upped that to 28.6 with some rebounds as a sophomore. And Chad, you joined the program before that sophomore season. So talk about the coaching philosophy you brought and the adjustments and adaptations. You said, I'm going to have to make some adaptations here, and they're going to
Yeah.
be fun.
Yeah, it was kind of after the first game because she didn't show me a lot in practices and stuff. But and this was summer, so it wasn't like it was the first game ever. And I was like, okay, we got to make some adjustments here. So yeah, it was really tough because you had to come up with something new every time because they were coming up, you scout a team and go, okay, they're a man-to-man team. Well, you get in and they wouldn't be a man-to-man team. So
Triangle 2, box and 1,
Oh, yeah,
junk
it was
defenses to try to slow you down. Right.
it was just crazy what we had to deal with sometimes. And everybody seemed like they'd try something different. She always got to where she could figure it out herself also. So that was fun to watch. I can remember kicking her out of the gym one time because she didn't like what we were trying to do.
Yeah, that was bad.
So anyway, but it was good too because we were trying something, wasn't working.
Yeah.
So you had to go back to the drawing board. So, and she could tell when it wasn't working before I could most of the time. So anyway, that was a credit to her that she's had a coaching future in her stance. So
And when in doubt, pull up 3 from
yeah.
27 And if it goes, it goes, right? Yeah.
Now, he had a lot of trust in me for me to do that. I think till this day, there was no other coach that would have trusted me as much as he did for me just to pull up whenever I wanted to. Or I come over after a free throw, coach, this isn't working. Can we do this? And he's like, yeah, go for it. He was very much of like, we were on the same page all the time. And it wouldn't even be like, I would just look at him and he'd be like, yeah, you're good. So having that to where I could go out there and just be me, like there was no stress at all.
When you shoot 30% from the logo, I mean...
Yeah, good move, coach. Not to hamper the 3,000 point score. Good one.
You know, the Knicks won this year in the NBA, and there was an old school Knicks player that played in the 70s named Jerry Lucas, and he played center, but he would drag all the centers out 25 feet and start putting up bombs. They go, why don't you shoot layups? He goes, those are like layups to me. You know,
Right.
That's how I looked at it. You know? It's your comfort zone, whatever that is. You know, sometimes it is farther out. Okay, so you talked about in an interview that you did, Chad, about common traits of Division I level basketball players. And you specified love of the game was the first feature and work ethic was the second feature, and that you had to kick her out of the gym. Tell us about that.
She would, I still believe that, work ethic, and you gotta love a game to be a Division I player. You just have to, because there's, especially these days when they put so much time into it. And she put a ton of time into it. Her mom would come take over for me sometimes just so she could get more shots up. But she would shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot. I still believe that was part of her. I mean, she just loved the game. I mean, she loved it, and she was going to put the time in to be able to make those threes. Those just didn't come easily for a girl. She practiced them all the time, so people don't generally realize that when how much time they're putting in the off season and so forth. So she was just a gym rat, what you call a gym rat. You know, she was in there all the time, and it helped. Mom was a principal; she could get in the gym too. So
Yeah, it did.
Is that where you just felt more alive? Your favorite place, or what?
Well, I don't know. The house we lived in, because we did live in Trenton, and we had to move back when Mom got the elementary principal job, and we had a little hoop outside, and every night I was out there flipping the lights on, playing my dad and sister all the time. I mean, they hated I would always be like, can we play horse? Can we play pig? Something. They're like, no, you're just going to beat us. I'm like, that's not the point. I just want to go out there and shoot. So, like, I mean, even in the wintertime, I'd go out there and shoot. Like, before school, just throw a couple up, and Mom would be like, come on, we have to go. So, I think I always loved it from a young age. But, like, obviously, getting in the gym and shooting off the gun was so much better than shooting outside. But, yeah.
My dad one time showed up and he was putting a new net on my goal, and it was a chain net. He says, I'm tired of buying nets.
Those are good.
He goes, I'm replacing them once a month. He goes, I want to replace one once
I
a year.
haven't seen one of those in a while.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Right. I can remember going to the playground and playing pickup basketball, and the sound of that chain net when you swished one was unreal. Yeah.
Okay, so this is all rolling along, and I remember, because my daughter played a couple years ahead of you, and that was kind of when you guys had your breakthrough. Trenton had been the big dogs in the conference, and they still had a really good team that year, but their top players and most of their starters had moved on. You finally broke through with a pretty tough game in Trenton's gym.
It was a very tough game, and that's one of my memories. I hate to say that about Trenton, but one of my favorite memories was Cady was being Cady, of course. But Jordy made 2 threes. It was like, no. Yes.
Right.
It was in that game that really turned it around for us to win that game. Of course, they had not Maddie, but
Macy Moore.
Macy. She was a stud, but we tried to force her outside as much as possible because we knew we really didn't have anybody could match up with her. Cady could have, but we typically didn't try to put her on their best player. So, we tried to force her outside as much as possible to keep her away from the rim. I didn't even realize that the streak was still going, I guess. I hadn't thought about it. What was it, 27 in a row or something that they had won? It was a big number. So that was a fun game. They come in, and I wasn't a tie guy, but I was dressed up as good as I get, and they soaked me in the locker room, and that was a big one. Because the first time we met in a gym was the old gym over at Milan, and they had their banners up, no conference championships. None was listed. And I brought them all together, and I said, that's going to change. We want that to change this year. We have the team to do that. And I don't know if this, as if they believed it until then. And then going forward, and we got a couple of wins under our belts, and confidence came around. It's like, okay, yeah, I think we can win this. But that was a huge game towards it. We had to go in and beat Princeton as well, or we would have tied with Trenton probably. So that was a big game as well too when we won that one down at Princeton. So
I remember that game because most of those girls played for me. I was travel ball coach for almost all of those girls, and they were still trying to piece it together. Cady had a great game, and just the shots, the free throws that had to be hit, the shots that had to be hit for you guys to keep that 4 to 6 point lead that you maintained throughout most of the fourth quarter was big. And I remember thinking it was a big day for you coming back into that gym and having that kind of a win. It was good for you.
Yeah. I'll never forget the Jordy threes though over in front of the Trenton crowd. That was those were pretty huge. And then she turns around and she does her little three thing. I'm like, Jordy, just go down and play. Come on.
They had been talking. They were talking.
They were kind of famous for that. They had to be monitored over there in that student section. You finished like 10th in the country in scoring 33 points a game, almost 10 rebounds a game in that senior year. You had already accepted an offer to play at the fall of your junior year before you played your junior season at Missouri State. And then your coach that recruited you moved to Virginia. Talk about that early recruitment, what made you interested in Missouri State, and then what you had to deal with to make that decision.
Right. Well, that summer obviously was AAU ball, and they were my first ever call from any coach was Coach Mock. So that was obviously fun and like rushing. I was like, oh gosh. So, like that's kind of like a fear is like, what if nobody wants you, So no matter what numbers I put up, like it doesn't matter. It's just whatever they see in you at that time. So I was nervous, but then when I got that call, I was like, okay, I could calm down just a little bit because that was always the goal, was to go play Division I basketball wherever it was. Well, then it's like, oh, that's home. Like that's Mo right there, So it doesn't get much better than that. So that happened, but COVID also was going on during that time. So my AU coach was like, he was good on talking with me, like we don't know. Obviously they gave extra years, like rosters were still full, So he's like, I mean, if this is the school you want to go to, let's do it. Let's just make it official. So I went home that next AU practice, called Coach Mox, and that was it. That was a wrap.
Did you feel a relief after that?
Yes.
I can play a little more loose now.
Yes.
And I've heard that from a lot of players that, once you make that decision, everything changes and you don't have to look over your shoulder like who's in the gym tonight looking. And
Yeah.
And I was also, at that time I was like 15, 16.
Yeah.
So I was trying to decide where I was going. And I was just a little, and I wasn't much of a thinker in high school. So I was more of like go with the flow type. So I was like, oh, this is kind of a big deal. Like, I did it. It's kind of like your dreams are all coming together right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You see your path.
Yeah.
So I can understand that. And I can see how it would be unnerving to get a bunch of mail from strange places. And where am I going? Oh my gosh, do I need to, how do I let them down? Because I'm not going there,
Right.
You've got to be nice to coaches that are coming on pretty strong, probably.
Right.
And I guess in those days, did people still come after you even after you made the commitment? Or did they kind of respect that a little bit?
They respected it. Like I might have got a couple emails here and there, but nobody called me really.
Some D2s.
Yeah.
Came in after and it's like, no, we've already committed. And that was the biggest thing, was this couple of D2s that had emailed.
And I remember articles that I saw at the time you made that commitment. You had played for the Iowa Attack, and that was kind of your first being seen regionally.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you played for Milan. You were a big deal in the GRC, but
Yeah, going up there was a shock, which I didn't go up there till about my 7th grade year. Like actual AAU basketball, like taking it serious. Because at first it was softball, like I was saying. I was like, oh, Max Mothersbaugh, who's my pitching coach, he was always like, you're a softball player. So in my mind, I was like, oh.
Surely Max didn't say that.
Oh my gosh,
he did when I was pitching.
Max,
right.
Come on.
Yeah. So
the next big thing, right?
Right.
yeah.
It's gonna be good.
So so then I was like, okay. Mom's like, let's give this a try. So we went up there, made the team, and then seeing I was like, oh, I'm not the biggest fish anymore. Like I was big, but they were a lot bigger and faster. So it was fun. It was fun, obviously getting to pick other players' game and talking. I don't know. It was just.
Do you remember some of the players that were with you on that team that might be from around here? Were they all new to you when you?
Nope, I knew nobody.
Wow. Okay. So it's a little tough to get assimilated, but
Right.
probably if you can hoop, as they say, right?
Yeah, well, I was the only Missourian on the Iowa team, and he let me know that a bunch of times. Let me tell you.
Every step up takes you into something that takes you out of your comfort zone. When your coach left, what were the emotions? What were you, that kind of pulled out from under you,
Right.
your safety zone, and you wondered what to do next? What went through your head then?
Well, that day it was actually at school, and a Twitter release went out. I wasn't told that this was going to happen at all. Like, obviously, when we were talking, she was like, "No, there's no way." But then she's from Virginia, so I knew it was home for her. So I was like, "Oh boy!" I was like, the connections I made with like that assistant group, and then her, I was like, I really like. It was my senior year too, so I was like, I'm moving in a couple months, literally deciding where I'm going to go, and I'm 17, 18, like. Have no thought in the world about anything. So I was like, oh boy, what do I do? So first thing I did, I was like, talk to mom and dad and all of them, and then decommitted. And then CJ called me, which is one of the assistants. And then we kind of just got talking. And then all of a sudden I get a call from Coach Mox, and she's like, do you want to come with us? I was like, oh, that's 14 hours away from home. And then I don't think I thought about it, talked to mom and dad about it. Really, I was just like, yes. And it just came out. I said yes, and they went along with it. That's one of the things that's great about my family and my supporting cast is like they just ran with it. Whatever I was good with, they were good with, and they came and supported. I mean, Coach came to the Notre Dame game out there, so like we've been everywhere, and I'm so glad that I've had this group of people that supported me because I couldn't have done it without them. So
you had a connection with the coach before you even played for that coach, right? And then that influenced your decision. Yeah, that's very cool.
That was a stressful time, though.
Yeah, right. I can imagine.
It's like, what do we do? What do we do?
Yeah.
Mentally, you've got your bags packed.
Yeah.
Probably almost literally, you're going to one place, and now it's not just a place that's an hour difference. Now you're going to the East Coast, ACC, right?
Bigger fish,
bigger, even more big fish. Yeah.
When you first got there, what were the first adjustments that you noticed, and what was your impression? I mean, once again, like what you did with the Iowa Attack. Now you're a Virginia Cavalier. What?
Right. Well, I knew I needed to get into some shape and get quicker, but I always knew my ability was there. Like that's something I never questioned. Was I good enough? As I know I was. That's something I never questioned. So getting there, just getting in the gym, working, and then having that, they supported me all the way. So like, there's really nothing. It was fun. It was fun to get to know all different, I don't know, people. Like, I'm just this country bumpkin coming in, like, small town girl, you know. They're like, oh, what's your graduating class? Oh, like 30-some.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm like, how much is yours? 500 to 1,000. I'm like, how? Okay. I was like, all right.
So I saw one of those, they do these social media things where they interview people as they're coming in and out of practice, or the Chiefs players or Royals players and all that stuff. And they did this with your team. And the question was, if you were stuck on a desert island, which teammate would you like to be stuck with? And I think you got most of the votes.
I did.
Because she could hunt.
That's what I was
She could survive.
I couldn't believe that she hunted.
Survivalist.
Country boys can't survive kind of a thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And I wondered about that because it just seemed to me that you had some practical skills from coming from Milan that they were like, I wouldn't know what to do.
Oh, yeah, they had nothing. I would show them coyote videos because I go coyote hunting. I mean, I do all the thermal stuff. So, like, they were like, no way. There's no way you do this. They're like, you scare me a little bit. And I'm like, okay, easy. But yeah, I definitely love being outside. Hunting and fishing is like, if I'm not doing anything with sports, that's what I'm doing.
Now, the other questions were, who's your favorite pro player? You remember what she said? Steph.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah, for sure.
3-point.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. And then the one that I liked, and I wanted to see if this still holds true today, is your favorite breakfast cereal. And you said Captain Crunch.
Yep.
It was Captain Crunch.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, I do love good cereal.
Okay, so that's cool.
So I got a question for you. My wife played D2 softball at Central Missouri, and one of the things she always told me was getting there the first year was the schedule just almost overwhelming. Like going from a small high school where you just have practice and maybe some shoot-arounds, she would say there's weights, and then there's conditioning, and then there's a tutoring, and then we have a team meal, and then we have a team meeting, and then we have practice, and then another tutoring session, and all of a sudden your day gets filled up from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. almost all year with that sport. How was that adjustment for you, and was it like that being at a big school, ACC? Did they have your whole day planned out for you?
Yeah, so we had this thing, it was called Teamworks. So, like, we'd have to look at it every day, but somebody would set up our schedule, like, boom, 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 boom. Even our class schedule was in there. Obviously, if you didn't show up, you had, some running to do. But that, I don't think, I like having my schedule set up for me, because if I had to do it, I wouldn't even make it. Just like getting here, I was lost. So,
There's road construction, in fairness.
Fair enough.
yeah. But yeah, that aspect of it, or like waking up early for weights. Like obviously AAU ball, like we'd have long practices, 4-hour practices and stuff like that. But never, you have to wake up every day early, even when your body's like hurting. And my body was definitely hurting every day. So I think that was a little bit surprising too, is how much running there was. And then we also had practice on top of it. So, and then we did it in the same day, like weights and practice at the same time. Usually you do it like we'd lift one day and then you have practice the next. No,
Every day, grind every day.
every day.
Yeah.
But then you get to go play Duke and
Right.
Yeah.
I got to see some cool places for sure.
right.
Yeah.
I seen Notre Dame's daily workout from a coach, and it was the same way. It was just like weights, and then an individual workout, and a film study, and then this and that, and it was just like it was all day long.
And don't forget, you got 12 hours of class you got to go to.
Yeah. And my girls played junior college, and they played Division II up to Division II. And I told them before they went, I said, "You're now getting paid to play softball. This is your job, so you need to put the time in to earn that pay, because that's exactly what it is. It's become a job now." So.
Yeah, it turns you kind of into a young adult, with my daughter, who for 3 years was at Northwest throwing. And, you got to get up and you got to do weights and you got to get to class, and then you got to practice early in the afternoon, and then probably something in the afternoon where she worked at the rec center and those kind of things.
Yeah.
You had to get shape. You had to be there. You kind of had to do your job.
Yeah.
In fact, she said that one time. Somebody gave her the wrong book at the library, and she had a test that night. She goes, "Why can't people just do their job?" And I thought, who is this girl?
Right.
Something I say often.
You grow up quick. So you're there 2 years, and then you got another decision that you make. Talk about that transfer portal entry decision.
Yeah. So I think for me, I'm big on family. Like if you see me, I'm usually with a bunch of family or even family friends, like their kids are. So that year I had a family member that passed away in a car accident, and that I took that one pretty hard, I think. And I knew I wanted to be closer to home because I had grandparents that were getting older, and I wanted them to be able to come to like almost every game. So that was what led me to my decision of getting into it. I loved being out there, the girls, the coach. Like my 2 years there, I wouldn't have changed it for anything. Wouldn't go back on it or anything. But that was one of the major reasons why I got into it.
And so you kind of come in again, and you're the new person, and you kind of have to figure out your role on the team. That, another adjustment.
Right. Yeah. Kind of just get thrown into the fire. But like I'm older, I'm coming in there as a junior. Like you have that upper class, like I wouldn't say status, but you kind of know the roles, how a college practice goes. And obviously at the end of the day, it's like who can put the ball in the hoop better than somebody else. Let's be real here. So that kind of helped. That wasn't so hard. The girls helped me along the way too. Like the upperclassmen, the seniors were like, you need to be here. But we also talked on the court. Like communication is very big, obviously, during basketball. So like our communication was very good. So I wasn't too out of whack. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you saw playing time, and you just kept growing a little bit. And by the time you get to your senior year, you're starting, and your team's good.
Yep.
And then you have an injury.
Yeah.
Sounds like every sports movie I've ever seen, right? There's going to be that adversity, and there's going to be an injury somewhere along the lines or something you have to face, and then, you get through it. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I think just the start of January was just rough for me. Obviously, a big goal of my senior year is like I wanted to start. That was my whole goal, obviously, all 4 years was I wanted to start and be a key player, and I finally was that my senior year. Playing good all the way up till January, and obviously lost my grandma, I think like January 3rd or something like that. That one hit me pretty rough. Played a game, flew back, went to the funeral, and then lost another one. And then the ankle came. So it was kind of just like a trickle effect. And then I knew I only had 4 weeks left in my basketball career. That's it. And I broke my ankle. How does that even happen? Like, why all of a sudden? Never broke anything in my life out of all the sports. And then now you want to do it? Oh. But anyways, then went to the doctors, got the x-rays, and he's like, you have 6 to 8 weeks. I just started bawling. I was like, I don't got 6 to 8 weeks. Like, we got to do this in 4. And he's like, I don't know if you guys, and then I started crying. He's like, all right, we can do it in 4. So literally, I did what everyone was telling me to do, all the way up to the big tournament, which was a conference tournament. Now, I can't remember if I played a game in that. I think I played the last game in the conference tournament, or maybe the second one. No, I played a little bit in the second game, which is semifinal, and I played the whole second half. Was my first game back, was 20 minutes straight, and the ankle was killing me. I was like, oh, maybe I'm not ready. But then I was fine. But then that next game was a championship game, played a little bit, so I knew I had to the team had to win that first game in our conference tournament for me to be able to put on a Lady Bears jersey again. So that was my goal.
Very cool. Very cool.
And then you made it all the way to the big
And
tournament.
then we played Texas. So yeah.
So the payoff had to be cool, even if it was kind of fleeting.
Yeah.
I mean, not as many minutes, not as,
Yeah.
I mean, the team kind of had to move on and figure out the roles, and you were fitting back in again in your last games.
Yeah.
But to get on that floor in an NCAA tournament.
Right. I mean, that's like, obviously, I mean, I think if you ask any basketball player, that's one of the goals is to play in the big tournament and play, and you win a game. We won a game. So, and then we played Texas, which they made it all the way to the finals and lost to UCLA. So, which I wish they would have won, so we could have said we lost to
Right. We lost only to
We lost
the champions.
Yeah. But yeah,
No, I knew she was hurt because she never came out of a game unless you pulled her out. And I seen her when we played South Shelby when she scored her 2,000th point. I almost didn't play her because it was a non-conference game, didn't mean anything, and that just wasn't going to happen. But her ankle was just huge. She scored her 2,000th point, and she was just getting mauled out there. I was like, this kid is tougher than nails. There's just no way that most kids would be playing on that. So it was pretty cool, but I knew she had to be hurt when that happened.
Yeah, I went down and I was like, I got back up and walked off because I'm like, it's just a rolled ankle, like I'm fine. But then there was this crunching sound. I'm like, what is that sound?
Not good. The crunching sound is not good.
Not good, right? So our athletic trainer comes over and he's like touching. I'm like, you got to stop touching it. Like, that hurts. He's like, come on, we got to go to the back. So I go to the back and he's like, let's wrap it. I was like, all right. Then the team doctor comes down. He's like, that's broke. I said, no, it's not. That's not broke till we see an x-ray. So we taped it up, and as much tape as I could have on it to where I was like, to be able to play at that speed, I couldn't go back out there. So I
think
knew
you were winning that game too, and
We
it was
were.
just like, we're not going to waste her on this. So
Yeah.
Timing of everything on injuries and having to deal with that. It's hard. It's hard. So one of the reasons we're here today is your wife posted that you guys were doing some film studies. So you've come back to your hometown and you've been named as the girls basketball coach. I mean, how does that feel?
Yeah. Obviously, it feels awesome to come back to your hometown. And half of my family works at that school. So, like, I knew coming, like all through high school, I knew I wanted to come back. Now, I didn't know if I was going to coach or not, but I knew I wanted to come back, teach, or do something, you know? So, I mean, it's been awesome so far.
That's great. I've had the opportunity with my daughter who did some volunteer coaching and helped with the tennis program. And then Salem Croy was back here for a while and coaching. And I think it's surprising how much it means. You know, once you get back into it and you see these girls and you want to help them, those girls get a chance to look at you the way you looked at the older girls.
Right.
And so what are you seeing out there on the floor? I mean, do you look at them and go, yeah, I don't know.
Well,
you know, the skill set.
I'll answer that one. So she calls me all in a panic. Coach, will you watch film with me? Will you watch film with me? Come on. We're just terrible. Blah, 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 you know. And she comes over and we watch. They'd recorded a few summer games there at Milan and at our shootout. And, you know, I'm watching and I'm like, okay, you're not as bad as you think you are, for sure. There's some really good things going on, and you've only had them for 8 practices. So calm down a little bit. Just remember you're going to get them for a long period of time where you can get them to do what you want them to do. But right now, just write that stuff down. We got to fix this, got to fix that. She was panicking a little bit, but I think she's going to have a really solid starting 5, and she's going to have come up with the 6 and 7 players probably a little bit just for foul troubles and stuff like that. But she was panicking a little bit on that end of it.
a little bit, yeah. But coming back and, like, meeting the girls and stuff like that. Now, if you do see me coaching the game, I will have a stress ball. That's just how they make me feel during games. Because at first, his daughter was helping me out on the court my first shootout, and I was swinging my keys. At one point, I put my whistle in my mouth. I was about to, like, stop the whole thing.
The game.
You can't do that. You're not allowed to do that.
Right. I'm like, just stop. So, and then Scotland, his daughter, went down and gave me a stress ball, and I was like, whew, okay, this is better. This is what I need. I didn't realize how much stress it is. Like, I don't know how he wasn't stressed out. Like,
I was.
Just let it, just like, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't. Like, they stressed me out.
That's part of it.
And then I think
That's the fun part.
Yeah, it is. And then for me, coming back here and coaching, it's more like I can't control the outcome. Like, I can't put the ball in the basket for them anymore. So that's been the fun part of adjusting to, like, they got to do it, and it's fun watching them do it. Like, once something clicks for them, I'm like, oh, yes.
You just got to put them in the position
Yeah.
to do it. If it doesn't go in, it doesn't go in. You know, putting them in the position is the thing now.
Right.
Is Coach Dabney still the boys' coach?
No,
Nope.
Her son is actually.
Okay.
She retired.
She did.
retired.
Okay,
Yep.
so I was going to tell you, I know you know everybody there, but some of the best things you can do as a girls varsity coach is get the officials all riled up for the boys coach. Get them just to the line where they're ready to call a tee, but don't go over the line. So then the boys coach will look at you after the night and go, I think you got me a technical. They were so worked up after your game, and then I said one thing, and bam, I got a tee.
Right.
So it's always better to go first.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get them early. Get them early. Chad, what's that relationship like, and how's it evolved with your best player? And, you get close and you go through the battles, win like 20 games this season for 3 straight years, and go to places Milan basketball's never been.
I think from
But
the
now
get-go,
she-
she
now
may
she's-
not say this, but I've said this. We clicked pretty much right off the get-go. She wanted to win. Like I said, she did not like to lose. And my philosophy was, we're going to play for championships. That's just the way my DNA works. We want to play for championships, whether we win that game or not. That's what Milan basketball is gonna be. And so we clicked right off the bat. I thought she may not say that, but who knows?
We did. We got to know each other real well.
We did. Of course, those after-hours shooting times were too. But it's just a joy for me to see her come back and to be able to place her knowledge. She's got a ton of knowledge, a ton of basketball knowledge that she can foreshadow down on our kids, and that's going to be fun to watch a lot of. It's going to be a different role for her for sure, but, I think she's ready for it.
I think it's one of those things where, as a coach, you get more enjoyment out of what your players accomplish and then how they grow as people.
Yes.
And that becomes more important. You kind of forget the bad losses that you lost by.
Yeah.
And I think that time heals a lot of those things. My uncle was my coach, and, he hollered at me and accused me of not hustling enough more than once, And you look back on it, he's probably right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not completely wrong there.
Yeah.
I could have played a little better defense there. What you're talking about, Cady, kind of reminds us of when we talked to Sierra Michaelis. And she was like, defense? Why I play defense? I score points. That's what I do,
Right.
And then you learn later, and then it's funny because she is now coaching,
Yep.
as an assistant coach down in Columbia, has a little different perspective on it. I think you and her have some similarities, a big guard that can rebound, that can also good interior passing and can step out.
Oh, by the way, can score 3,000 points.
She can too.
Oh, by the way.
Amazing. It's pretty amazing. So what are you looking at when you break down film? I mean, can you look past the, that wasn't so good, but I like the hustle. I like this. I like that.
Yeah, I think
build on?
the girls I have, which I know all of them, even when they were younger. And I was always in the elementary. Like when I was cadetting, I love little kids. And my cousin's one of my players. So I know all of them. So coming back and building that relationship of where they also look up to you, but listen to you at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And you're able to have fun with them. That's what I like. I love getting to know them, their families. I know all their families. So that's a big part of what I've liked coming back to Milan is getting to know them as people.
Chad, I remember you watched me walk in to your gym when I was a Trenton boys coach, and you were laughing, where do they find this guy? What are you doing here coaching after years in healthcare? And I've done it for 6 years now.
Yeah.
What's so addictive about coaching? What is it that keeps you?
I
kept
think
you in
it's
the game?
just it's the competition. I think as a player, you love that competition, and it just rolls over. You just want to keep competing, and I think that's the biggest thing for me is just the competition is still there. Trying to break down film, trying to figure out how you're going to attack a team or defend a team or whatever it may be for the game coming up. In high school, it's a short period of time, and you got to get on it. So there's a lot of late nights. You sit there and, okay, this game's over. We watch that film. Well, okay, we got to go watch some more film here on this next team coming up. So, but yeah, I just love the competing part of it. And I love watching the kids compete and getting that winning mentality. I think we're missing that in sports anymore sometimes, that we're just okay with playing instead of playing for championships. Like we always said, we want to play for championships. That's it. I know Jeremy used to ask me that question all the time about what's your goal to play for championships. That was always my answer. I'm going to play for championships. That's what we want to do. It may not always happen, but that's our goal. So why not go for that every time?
I told my travel girls, I said, you're going to learn how to play the game, not blame the officials, and beat Chillicothe. That was the if you're in Trenton, that's your championship in some way.
I love the saying, winning isn't everything. Wanting to win is everything.
That is a great saying.
Is wanting to win. Going out there every time, it doesn't matter if you know the team out there is better than you might lose by 40. I still want to compete and win this game, and then whatever happens at the end of the game happens.
It happens, but that's a great saying.
And in this last year, our A and B boys went undefeated.
All right.
Travis and I. And the last time that had happened with the team, I think was your 8th grade.
Probably.
With Micah Thainsley and that bunch. So good for you.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Junior high is a crackling place when they win every game. I mean, those kids are pumped, and the kids around them.
Yeah.
How about this connection? Ched coached Cade, Lathan, and Hunter in middle school, right?
Yep.
And then they went on to play together in high school and beat Milan, undefeated state-ranked Milan.
Right.
That year, the three boys that played for Coach Hurley at Trenton. Awesome. So I think about that every once in a while.
That was a big win.
Yeah.
Big win for the boys.
So when you made that run all the way to the quarterfinals, what was the community like? What was the feeling like? I mean, everything's possible, but what do you remember about that particular run?
Well,
when you won your district that you wanted to win so bad?
Right. Well, then we won our district, so we were already hyped. But then we're like, oh, we got another game. So, we got to reel it in and, we got to focus. But, the community, I mean, they came down, put signs up, going to Lawson. They came down, fed us. I think we ate before we went. I mean, and that was during COVID where you had to wear a mask. And, some people are like, no, we're not going to waste time to go down there. But, Milan was there. I'm pretty sure the whole town of Milan was there.
I think so, too.
Everybody was there. It was probably that Lawson game was probably the best game I have ever played in the atmosphere. Although Skyline was a pretty good one, but because we won, Lawson was it was fun. That
was the district championship game that year played at Ketchum Center against Trenton?
Yes.
Or is that a semifinal?
That was district. That was at ours. That was
okay.
Brookfield, that district championship.
Okay.
Beat Brookfield, and then that next year
we went back up.
We played Trenton and beat them.
Okay.
At Ketchum. Yeah. Get my years.
I think if you ask any of the girls, they'll all mention the Lawson game as their favorite game, but that's just because we won that game. I think if they really look back on it in a few years, they'll think that Skyline game was pretty special. It was so loud. That was the first time we really had it packed.
In ours?
Yes.
In your new gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
And those 6 points will haunt me forever, but that's just the way it goes. But it was loud. That's the loudest gym when it's packed that I've ever been in.
They had a coach and them had to write on the whiteboard.
Yeah, we had to write down, run this, run that, and it was
loud.
It was crazy loud, and
there was still a limit because of COVID. So I think if COVID wasn't around, that gym, there would have been no.
It was so much fun.
It was so much fun.
Even though we lost, it was fun, and the 6 points will haunt me. But
yeah,
we've all got that game. I think that's come up on the podcast before. We've all coaches always have that one game right before you go to bed and close your eyes. Oh, that game.
Another one of my favorite games was St. Joe Christian.
Oh yeah, they beat us bad.
We had them in a regular season game.
Yeah.
And they smoked us. They beat us by 30.
Yeah.
They just absolutely kicked our butt. But we had 40, to play them in the crossover game when the conference had the two sides. Mm-hmm. And we were down. It was looking pretty bleak again. I think we were down 16. And she hits a 3/4 court shot at the free throw line. Mm-hmm. Woo! One-handed, boom. And the momentum boom, shifted right there. And that was a pretty cool game. We came back to win that game and made some adjustments at halftime defensively, and that was a fun game.
It was.
So we've had Jeremy Benson on the podcast before, and he's the GRC guru. He controls the GRC website, and we asked him about his favorite players and moments, and he had mentioned you and the Milan gym and that particular game, he
that
was
right?
keeping score for St. Joe Christian
Yeah.
when that happened, and he described that as one of his favorite moments covering the GRC.
I look back in the crowd and this guy goes, just like you drew it up. And I was like, yeah, I guess so. And my wife, he got into it with a lady. Oh, that was pure luck, and all this. Blah. The next day she did it 1 for 4. So
Hey,
I did practice them.
you could shoot 25% from 70 feet.
that's
Hey.
pretty good.
Some don't shoot 25% from 3-point. right?
Yeah.
So, how do you sum up what's basketball meant to you, and what do you tell your girls that are just starting on this journey? What's possible in the world of sports? So, I mean, what does that mean to you, and what do you think you can tell kids that will resonate with them?
Yeah, I think for me, I was always told growing up, you're too big. There's no way you're making it to D1 or anything. Like, you're too big. So I think for me, and I was a big guard, so like I didn't let any of that get to me really. So, but that was kind of like, the talk that always, every player has something that motivates them, any trash talking or whatever. Some people don't like you. So I think just having that in the back of my mind really helped. Obviously, my supporting cast was awesome. So I think for my players wise, I think anything's possible, no matter what size you are. Doesn't matter. And don't let anyone tell you can't do something. Because if you want to do it, you can do it.
Got to put the time in, though, like she did. You got to put the time in and love the game, because that's what gets you in the gym, is that love for that game.
That goes down smooth. I like that talk, and I agree with that. Okay. In the world of sports, Chris, we've got a lot of one-name superstars. There's LeBron, there's Kobe, there's Steph. And in North Missouri in the past 25 years, I'd say there's 3 names. If you say them, everybody knows who these players are. And they're Sierra, and they were Ainsley, and they were Cady. And you didn't need the last names to know who they were talking about, because they had done things in gyms all over the area. They had led their teams to victory into places they'd never been. And they were talented people that took their team to new heights. And they loved the game of basketball. And it was just clear watching them that they wanted to compete, that they lived to compete. So I want to thank you for those memories, because I didn't get to see a lot of those games, but I was aware of it, certainly. And I just want to wish you great success in your new coaching role, and hope you find another Cady out there somewhere. And you can be the Ched to their Cady. And you got to keep mentoring this young lady and spreading the basketball gospel.
You never know. I might be on the bench with her. So
Hey.
He will be. He will be.
What do you think, Chris? You got something to wind us up?
Well, I asked this to a lot of basketball guests that we have. Before we leave, I got to know favorite gym. You can't say Milan's. Favorite gym that you got to play in, high school, college, in the ACC, or at Missouri State. What jumps to mind, favorite gym?
I think the Notre Dame gym. I mean,
Oh, nice.
that game was awesome. I think that game I
was
played
pretty
20
sweet.
minutes and hit 4 threes. I was on fire that game. But
And she was guarding a 6'5" girl.
yeah,
so,
well,
she made her look small out there.
I was always small. Coming up here, I was the biggest one. Going down there, I was just
And getting to play at Notre Dame.
Right.
Wow, what an experience. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's pretty cool.
What was your favorite gym to coach in or play in?
Oh, man.
life.
I don't know. I liked them all just because we got to go in there and play basketball.
Because you got to walk in and see the
Yeah.
2 rims.
I mean,
and,
it depended on what the game was, too. I was like, all right, here we go. Let's get to playing. Probably Scotland County Gym. I don't know why.
I never won there.
I know we never won there, but it was always, even when I was a player, it was always a ruckus gym, and you were always into it. And she says I got a T, but I didn't really get one there.
I think he kicked the chair. Yeah. Well, I fouled out. That was probably my
Yeah,
fault there.
those things happen. But that gym, when I was a player, I was shot well there, so that may be why.
That's why.
That's
Yeah.
part of it anyway. So
That was good.
when I coached there, we never could win, but it was always competitive games that were fun, and to compete against them guys, and they've always got good players over there too. So
Well, I just want to thank you again for coming in. It's a lot of fun reliving some of those moments and thinking about your career, and you were just always a competitor, and that's what stuck in my mind throughout. And I'm going to close this out and thank our listeners at Show Me Sports Legacies.